Okay.
That's good. Now hit go live. You want to pray really fast?
Yeah.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
My Queen and my Mother, I give myself entirely to you, and to show my devotion to you, I consecrate to you this day my eyes, my ears, my mouth, my heart, my whole being without reserve. Wherefore, good Mother, as I am your own, keep me, guard me, as your property and possession. Amen.
Okay, I think all of that is working. Let me double check on everything. Looks like we're Facebook Live. Welcome, everybody.
Yo.
Yep, Catholic Man Show is live. On Twitter. Remove the church key. Oh, what a crazy night.
Indeed. It's been a big day.
It has been a big day.
Meeting with the bishop. 40 Days for Life. Recording.
Yeah. 40 Days for Life was great. Okay. You ready? Let's like do this.
Okay. Let's. Check this out. You guys get to hear this now.
Although they don't hear the actual warning.
Oh yeah.
So actually,
Wonder how I stop it.
we're still trying to learn. Oh, nice. You did it.
I just turned it off.
Oh.
Okay.
You want to be a sissy, whiny baby. Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass. I'm Adam Minahan, sitting here with David Niles in studio. We are Facebook Live. We are Periscope, Twitter Live. Let me just say something really fast. Can I? Oh, that camera's not on. Because we had to reset it, remember? So you don't get a camera this time.
No, you don't.
Oh, I don't. I don't get a camera this time. That's okay. Can I just say something, though, really fast about Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff?
Yeah.
A guy I was working with today
Mm-hmm.
came in and was like, hey, what's this? Can you sign me up for maybe this face snap stuff? And I'm like, listen, man. I know that you're older. But you know what it is. You know it's Facebook.
Right.
Like stop. Stop.
Don't do that.
You're not fooling me.
Right.
Like, maybe 11 years ago. Okay, you'd get me. 5
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would get me. But you know what Facebook is now. Like. Anyway, people who are older than 55. We know that you know. It's Facebook. We know.
I know that you
I
know
know
this.
that you know this. So you can call it Facebook.
Right.
So we are Facebook Live.
That's funny.
So anyway, welcome to the Catholic Man Show. I'm really excited about our man beverage today.
Me too.
This has been a crazy week. We had to we rescheduled the Catholic Man Show till today.
Yes.
We had meetings today for the radio station, which was exciting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the 40 Days for Life kickoff started tonight.
Opening rally. So
Opening rally
starts tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
The official day is Wednesday,
Okay.
but we have the opening rally
Tonight. We had it tonight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we were there. It was a great turnout. Well, how many people did you say? 150?
I think it could have been 200.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Was there. Then we ran back home, got our kids to bed, and here we are on Facebook.
With you
On the Catholic Man Show. So today, our man beverage is a sour beer. And it's brought to you by a Council of Man member and friend of ours from Tulsa, Mr. Watson, Nate Watson. And he gave us this beer that he brewed, and he brewed it for he had it aged in a wine barrel for 3 years.
3 years.
For 3 years.
I am very excited about this beer. He brought a beer and he left before we got to drink it.
I know, because I told him about.
I was mortified that he left. Nate, the fact that you weren't there. He brought another sour beer to the wiffle ball tournament a few weeks back, and this is not as extreme of a statement as it may sound, because I haven't had very many sour beers. My sour beer experience is very low, but it was the best one I'd ever had. Because a lot of sour in general is not my flavor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he brought, it was just, the sour was just kind of like nice there in the background. It wasn't the main feature of the drink, you know what I mean? So it was just, I loved every second about it. But there's something about the sourness that creates a refreshing experience.
Yeah, so he gave this to us quite a while back ago, but I've been wanting to try my best to try a bunch of different sours before having this beer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I like you, are not a sour aficionado, like sour beer aficionado.
And I honestly don't think most people
it's an acquired taste.
And it's kind of the back corner of the beer realm. You know, a lot of people are hanging out in the beer room for a long time before they realize, hey, there's sours.
Right, yeah.
And then some people fall in love with them, head over heels. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of people who just don't like sour stuff in general.
Right.
You know.
And it's brewed differently, a little bit different. I did a little quick research on it, but we can talk about that. But
let's more than I do.
Let's try this out.
You got your church key. Yep.
I'll let you pour your first glass.
How about
pour the first glass?
How about I pour yours, my friend?
Okay. So it's very interesting. Sour beers. I think that it is definitely an acquired taste. It's something that you have to
with half a glass.
That'll be good. It is something that you have to continue trying over time.
I will tell you, the first sour beer I had, did not like.
You were not a fan?
No. But I was drinking with Father Brian Ketterer, and then one of his secular
Let me ask you this, though. The first IPA that you had.
No, didn't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you like it.
Yes. And I realized that when I was drinking it, that just keep trying it. And even by the end of the glass, I was already getting acclimated to it. And I was able to enjoy it more.
Right.
Because the first few sips just were, they kind of shock me a little bit. Just because it's an upfront flavor. But let's try it.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
So as you can see, if you're on YouTube or streaming live watching us, you can see it's a darker, malty caramel color.
Yeah, it is. It is a dark for a sour beer. This is exactly what a sour beer. This is what sour beer tastes like right here.
Yeah, because he told us that he was very worried. He was concerned that it was going to be. He's like,
really sour.
Let me tell you, it's going to be really sour.
This one's pretty sour.
It is really sour, but it's not.
Much more than the one he brought the other day.
Yeah, but it's not like overpowering.
No, it's not. And I had one recently that was terrible.
Really?
Oh, it was just nothing. It tasted like I was drinking a Warhead. Remember that candy?
Oh, yeah.
So it just wasn't, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's a really good one. And like I said, I'm wrong. But to me, it was no good.
It was not good?
No.
So there's two different ways.
This, though, is not that. This is much. No, this is
it's
good.
Very good. And you can definitely taste the Chardonnay wine.
Oh, is that what it was?
It's Chardonnay.
Oh,
and can you taste that? It tastes. You have that hint of Chardonnay.
I was expecting a red wine.
No, it was
a white wine.
I believe it's Chardonnay.
Interesting.
So there's two different ways of making sour beer.
Do they age? Do they always age Chardonnay in a barrel?
I think they can't.
Like when I think about barrels, I don't think of wine barrels. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess they can. Yeah, I guess they can. Or maybe it's just they aged it in a barrel and then they took that barrel and.
So there's 2 different ways of making sour beers, and I only know of the one way. I don't understand the other way because it started getting too. The vocab was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, too deep.
But so what they do is they take most beers now are very single yeasts. Like they've broken it down to like one particle of yeast, and they're using that specimen of yeast.
Okay.
Yeast. That's not the correct terminology, but you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. One kind of yeast.
One kind of yeast.
One species?
Maybe species.
Okay.
Of yeast. And that's what they use to keep it consistent. It reacts the same way every single time.
Okay.
So they do that in metal barrel, like stainless steel barrels. And then they take it and they use like a bunch of different kinds of yeast that just goes crazy. And that's actually how they used to make beer. It was never like with single whatever yeast. It was multi kinds of yeast.
Okay.
So they put them in these barrels, and they throw this other yeast in there, and then it just kind of lactates a lot. There's a lot of lactic acid, which creates the sour. It's the same kind of lactic acid in like yogurt and sauerkraut that makes it kind of that tangy.
Yeah,
taste.
That is kind of what it tastes like.
It's the same stuff.
I wonder if
Same
this
particle.
beer is a probiotic.
They have probiotic. They make sour beers with probiotics.
Honey, just need to get my probiotics in for the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12% alcohol.
So they put them in these barrels, and then they put fruits in the barrels, but it can't be filled up all the way because it has to have oxygen to be able to move around.
That makes sense.
To ferment and do all this crazy stuff. It typically takes the first 6 months or so is very tart, and a year to 18 months creates more of the sour, and then at the very end you get more of the fruit, tangy yet refreshing taste. But it's very hard to keep it consistent. So a lot of times what they'll do is
it's a long process for something to happen.
Well, yeah, and you're using all these multi kinds of yeast, and they react differently. It's an uncontrolled process, basically.
Yeah.
And so what they'll do is they'll make like 60 barrels, and then they'll use 40 of them, and then kind of blend them all together to create more of a consistent sour beer.
Okay. Good idea.
And so, a third of them were so inconsistent and so out there that it was like we can't even use these.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of how. That's why I want to enjoy sour beers, because it is a craft. It is an art. It's this labor of love. It takes a long time. It's not always consistent. There takes a little bit of luck, but also a lot of skill involved as well.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of brewing sour beers, and I like the process, and it's kind of like smoking meat, right? You can take a brisket and throw it in the oven, and it's going to taste great. But you can take a brisket and smoke it on the grill, and it takes 9 hours.
Yeah.
But it's that anticipation, the build-up, the excitement of it's going to taste. What could it taste like? Anyway, that's why I like the idea of sour beers.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I hope to enjoy it more. I hope to enjoy them more, and become acquainted with them more.
You have a lifetime, my friend.
I'm excited. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass. Dude, the 2 bumper music's going is really throwing me off. I mean, it's not really throwing me off, but it's just really funny.
I think I can fix it.
Really? Okay. Let's see. Your wife said hello.
Oh, hi, honey.
Hi, Pamela. She actually said both. Oh, and Rob said hello. Jeremy Maddox said recently he stumbled upon Sea Quench Ale from Dogfish Head. Yeah, Dogfish Head, and thought it was delicious. There's a brewery in Indiana that makes something. I can't read it. I have had the Sea Quench Ale from Dogfish Head, Jeremy. However, it has that salty. It has a saltiness to it. And that's another one that I would have to get used to a little bit more. What are you doing?
Trying to add
Rob, what's going on, bud? What are you trying to add?
The camera back.
Oh. Well, it's not even like blue lighting, so I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be able to do that.
Because it's not on.
We still have like 9 people on watching on Facebook, so that's pretty good. Man, it was so crazy today, guys. We had an opportunity with to continue growing St. Michael Catholic Radio. If you guys don't know, Dave and I run the local Catholic radio station here in Tulsa, and our goal is to expand all of Catholic radio across Oklahoma. We want everywhere in Oklahoma to have Catholic radio, and so we have this opportunity that's coming up that is not one that you can easily get. Like it takes a while to be able to. It takes like 8-year rotation to be able to get it. Anyway, we are looking forward to trying to continue growing the radio station, which is another labor of love. Tony, hello from Wyoming. What's up, Tony? Great work, guys. What's your flavor of cigar and humidor behind? Oh, great question, Tony. My wife is watching as well. Tony, I have several different kinds of cigars going on right now.
Sit down. Where are you?
I am sitting down.
Where like you would.
I am.
Fixing your camera.
I am. The Man of War. AJ Ferguson is making great cigars right now. So I have several Man of War cigars. I also have your Gurkha. How do you say that? You think it's Gurkha? I think it's Gurkha.
Gurkha?
Gurkha. And somebody suggested it to me, so I got some of them, and they are pretty good as well. I have a couple other Connecticut cigars in there, and I'm just not a big fan of the Connecticut cigars as much. Anyway, long-time listener from Damon, first time on Facebook, live watcher. Thanks, Damon, for watching the show. And welcome to Facebook Live. We are in between segments. We're in between segment 1 and 2 right now. We're just I'm buying a little bit of time because we're trying our best to. We just got new mic stand or camera stands for the room, and we're trying our best to implement a new feature within the our new software. So we're doing our best here. So hang in there with us. But Nathan Waston, thank you so much for the spirit, man. I hope he's watching right now. I don't know. It doesn't show who all's watching, but I hope he's watching because it is a delicious beer.
Yeah, and Father Brian,
really like it.
Father Brian Ketterer, if you're watching, you have maybe 40 minutes to get here if you want to drink this beer.
Hector Molina. Hector, what's up, bud? I hope you're doing well. Hope the wife is doing well. She's been in our prayers, guys. If you have not been praying for Hector's wife, continue praying for her. Hector's a good friend. I mean, I consider him a good friend. He'd probably, I don't know. He may not consider us a good friend. He may not. But I really like all of Hector's work. Go check him out. Are we ready for segment 2?
I thought it was. Hang on.
Oh, okay. But yeah, continue praying for Hector. Also, the camp out we have coming up at Clear Creek Abbey. We're really excited to be doing that. That is filled up, and we actually have a waiting list going on right now. But if you want to get on the waiting list, and you want to hang out with 40 other guys, Catholic guys who want to pray and eat great food from Juan and hang out, have some cheer and brotherhood and fellowship. That is something you want to try to get on. You have to Facebook message us if you want to get on the waiting list, though.
Okay.
We good?
Let's see. We're good.
We're good.
You can
All
see
right.
you. There you are.
There I am. Thank you for your patience.
Okay.
All right, let's roll. Let's do this. What's our man gear again?
pre-emergent.
Pre-emergent. That's right. I remember. I had all this stuff ready to go for the Catholic Man Show on Sunday, and then because we didn't record, I kind of forgot all of it.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me that question. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this. Shannon says she loves the I love her a latte shirt. She's wanting to know where to get those, but.
And welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan. We are in studio today. We're drinking a delicious sour beer. It is. See, this is just my personal preference. I think it's a little bit more sour than I would make a beer. But comparing it to other sour beers that I've had that I know are good because Father Brian Ketterer is drinking them.
Right.
This is a good one.
This is I'm enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying it. It's going to be a beer that I'm going to continue to. It's going to help me move towards liking sours more.
Yeah. And you know what else?
Dude, you haven't even given him a cheers. You haven't even toasted.
Why don't you do it? Because he gave it to you.
Nathan, may your faith continue to grow and never sour, and may your family continue growing closer to our Lord from now until the end of time. Cheers to Jesus.
Cheers. That was a good one. May it never sour.
Okay, let's
I liked it.
Thank you. Let's get into the man gear.
But one thing I wanted to say about this sour beer.
Okay.
It's difficult to drink a sour beer quickly.
That is true.
The sourness makes you slow down
and enjoy
it. Kind of built-in moderator for your beer drinking,
which is always a good thing.
I agree.
Virtue, gentlemen.
Okay. So, the man gear for today is pre-emergent.
Dave, what do you mean by pre-emergent?
Well, if you're from Oklahoma, it's just pre-emergent.
Premergent.
Put out my pre-emergent.
Yeah.
But if you spell pre-emergent in Facebook or on Google, it says, "Did you mean pre-emergent?"
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Okay, so
that is what I meant.
We're a little bit late. I have not put down my pre-emergent yet. I'm a little bit late for this part of the area.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of people think about pre-emergent as a spring gig.
Well, what is it? You haven't even said what it is.
Okay, you're right. Pre-emergent is the stuff that looks like fertilizer that you put down in your yard that prevents the weeds from growing. And that's only, in layman's terms, correct. Actually, what it prevents is the weeds from germinating, from taking root. So if there are already weeds in your yard and you put down pre-emergent, it's not going to do anything to those weeds. Pre-emergent will stop new plants from taking root. Okay, it forms a barrier essentially over your dirt, so that new seeds, when they hit the dirt, they can't grow. Okay. And so in the spring and in the fall, there are typically, depending on what part of the country you live in, there are spring weeds, and then there are fall weeds. Okay, so the spring weeds tend to be more your crabgrass. Your fall weeds tend to be more your dandelions, and they're just they're different genres. And once again, that just depends on what part of the country you live in. Florida and North Dakota have different stuff, so you need to know what is appropriate for your area. And in Florida, it might not be even the window to put down pre-emergent yet. In North Dakota, I don't know. I don't even know if they have grass in North Dakota.
I've never been there, but I would be willing to bet they probably have grass.
For all I know, they just mow the snow all summer long. I do not. I know that they don't do that. Please don't send me emails. I'm just kidding. Okay, but my point is, the weeds are different. Okay,
right.
Here in Oklahoma, I can tell you that you want to really put it down pre-emergent. mid-August to somewhere around the 10th of September.
Okay.
Seemed to be the general consensus. Early September, so it's kind of late September. I'm going to do it this weekend.
But it really depends on the weather, right? Because it's whenever it starts cooling off a little bit. That's when you want to do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do it whenever it's 100 degrees outside. In Oklahoma, in the summer times, you can still, or even in September, it can still be 100 degrees.
Sure.
That's not the time to do pre-emergent, right?
Right. Yeah. And so that really is what the big factor is. When is the ground going to start to cool down? Which is what allows those fall weeds to germinate. Now, a lot of the weeds that you see in the spring germinate in the fall, take root, but they don't come up until the spring. And so people can't figure out, I put down a pre-emergent every spring at the right time. Mm-hmm. Why do I still keep? Well, that's because they're fall weeds that haven't shown up yet. Okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So there's a couple rules. Couple things you don't want to combine. For instance, you can, it's a waste of your time and efforts if you put down a pre-emergent and then attempt to overseed your yard. Because if you have a nice fescue yard,
right.
Okay? Fescue is the kind of thing that you very often want to overseed. In fact, you kind of need to.
You have to.
Yeah, because it won't spread in the same way that Bermuda. I have Bermuda. It will grow and spread. It'll just take over, you know. Mm-hmm. No, it'll do it all by itself, no problem. So if you're going to be overseeding your yard in the fall, which is a good time to do it,
right.
Don't put down a pre-emergent, because if you do, it prevents the seeds from germinating.
Right.
So you're laying all this seed, but you've already put down a barrier
that's going to prevent it from growing.
Right. Exactly. So you have to decide what your yard needs. Maybe if we had a mild summer and your fescue still looks really good.
Right now mine's not looking great because with fescue, man, you have to water it
all the time,
every day.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma weather, every day. And when I'm out of town, and I just have not been watering it as religiously as I should be.
Right. So you might say, we had a mild summer. My yard still looks great. This year I'll put down a pre-emergent. Mm-hmm. Maybe most years you overseed. You gotta feel out your own yard.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about why it's important to take care of your yard.
Well,
because
for me personally,
because there's
I'm gonna get let's talk maybe theologically and then personally.
Okay.
On the subject, I would like to start personally. I love the look when you finish mowing your yard. Mm-hmm. It looks gorgeous
with a good edge job.
Thank you.
The
yes.
edge job has to be there.
Right. In fact, if all you do is edge it, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks good.
It doesn't have that.
It's almost like if you don't wash your car but you wash your wheels and blacken the tires.
Sure.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Polish the headlights. Mm-hmm. Kind of just the touch, little touches that make it sparkle and shine just a little bit.
Yeah. I think they get the analogy. Let's move on.
But mowing it, gives that nice, even golf course looking effect. It is just so beautiful. So, personally,
there's a sense of accomplishment.
Yes, I feel like the house is in order when I have.
It's kind of like
when I have a well-maintained yard.
Jordan Peterson deal, where it's like clean your room. Because if you feel ordered, you feel like you're in order, you feel like that you can. That's something that you can control, and if you do the things that you can control well, then your house is in order. Your life becomes more in ordered.
Yeah, and it's sort of like virtue. How one good act begets another. How when you practice one virtue, all of a sudden you start practicing other virtues. If you maintain your yard, the next thing here's what happened to me is I started taking care of my yard. The next thing I knew I was also taking care of the flower beds. Mm-hmm. For me, flowers and dudes, like let the chicks handle the flowers, right? That was the stereotypical me of days gone by.
Yeah.
I would never say anything. Yeah, so
that was the dumb Dave.
Gender insensitive today.
Right.
Ever. Right. But really, that's what happened. It's like now I, water the flowers. And it kind of works its way into the other aspects of your life, having a good maintained yard. What made the biggest difference for me this year was just getting weed killer. And a couple times a week, I'd get home from work, and just walk the yard, spray the weeds.
Yeah.
And my yard, if I may say so, looks very good right now.
It does. I agree with you.
So I'm a little late on the pre-emergent. Better late than never. At some point, if the seeds have already germinated, then you can put it down, and it's not going to do anything because the seeds are already taken root. And if that's the case, well, maybe you blocked some.
Weed killer is what you're gonna have to use.
You just have to go get some more weed killer. You can go to
theologically.
Okay, so theologically, I would say that the way I like to look at it is that my house is a gift from God, just like everything else that I have, just like my children.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my children are my children, they're really God. They're His children first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in a way, I'm the steward of everything that's been given to me. Just like there was a steward in the Old Testament. When the king is gone, the steward is in charge. It's his city, and he held the keys to the kingdom. Mm-hmm. There's the king and the steward, only people with the keys. Okay, so they have the authority. So in some way, my house, I'm the steward of, not necessarily the owner, because I would have nothing if it were not given to me from our Lord. So if that's the case, and the things I have really belong to Him first, I want to take care of them in order to honor them because they're His. So if I have a nice house, I want to have a nice house in order that the Lord's house He has given me is well taken care of. You know, if you give someone a gift and they just throw it on the floor, they don't take care of it, it gets beaten up, that's disrespectful. Mm-hmm. So when you give someone a gift, you want them to honor it, cherish it, take care of it. And so that's why I think, just one reason why having a good yard, having a nice, beautiful lawn is a very important thing to do.
Well done.
Thank you.
When we get back, we're going to jump into the man topic. Drinking some sour beer, talking about pre-emergent.
Pre-emergent.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
All right.
Let's see.
See, look, this outro is still playing.
Can they hear it?
They can hear it, I think. See the...
Yeah? But why can we not?
I turned the headphones down.
Ah. Nice. Did see, we're learning, guys. We are learning. Is this the regular timing for the broadcast? Pablo, no, this is not the regular timing. You can catch all of our podcasts. Typically come out Thursday evenings, about 8, somewhere between 8 and 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But we do the live whenever we can. Typically it's Sunday evenings.
Yeah.
But that's not the case today. Let's see. In Louisiana, Carrie said in Louisiana where he's at, it'll be about December before he's able to put pre-emergence on.
No kidding, yeah.
Because it doesn't get cold. Juan Posada from Dallas. He is in Dallas right now, and we are barely surviving without you. He said he hopes we're surviving.
Juan, I wish you were here to drink this beer with us.
Yeah, Juan, you are missing out. Sweet. Phil said that he could hear that music still. So
yeah, okay, good.
Thank you, Phil. Jim Spencer is on. Thank you, Jim. Jim is our unofficial but yet official bodyguard of the Catholic Man Show.
We need to get him a security shirt.
I want to get him one. I'm doing that.
So epic.
I am doing that. Okay, let me pull up my notes real quick because.
All right, Adam. Say it with me. Magnanimity.
Magnanimity. How many times
Magnanimity.
Magnanimity. Magnanimity. Magnanimity.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
I know for sure that I will mess up magnanimity at least once.
Magnanimity. Magnanimity. Magnanimity.
Magnanimous.
Okay.
All right, we're going to try.
We're going to, do our best.
We're going to see how it goes.
Art thou ready?
Yes. Magnanimity. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Here on the Catholic Man Show, we try to promote virtue. I would say virtue is what we try to promote every episode in some way, shape, or form. We're going to talk about a specific virtue today. We haven't talked about this virtue yet, and one of the reasons why I have not brought this up as a topic is because it's a very hard word to say. We're going to be talking about magnanimity.
Magnanimity.
What's the word that on Nemo where the little fish continues to?
Oh yes, it is. Dang it.
Whatever it is.
My wife was just making us say this at dinner 3 days ago. Anonymity.
What?
Anonymity.
Anonymity?
They live in a sea anemone.
Oh, okay.
It's a sea anemone.
Anyway, that's what it reminds me of with magnanimity.
And she was trying to say if we could say enemy anemone.
Okay.
Can you say?
We're talking about magnanimity today. Yes. Dave, this is kind of your topic that you wanted to.
Yeah. So
how do you want to start it out?
I think the word, people like everyone has heard of people being referred to as magnanimous.
I was under the impression that everybody had heard.
Yes. No, don't start that. And I think, myself included, most of my life, I thought that's just a really nice thing to say to someone. It's a big word. It sounds great. People don't say it a whole lot. It must mean a lot if you say someone is magnanimous. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all it was to me.
Okay.
I had no concept of magnanimity as a virtue, nor did I really know the true definition. Okay, so I think that's a good place to start. No matter what, first define your terms.
Yes.
Okay. Magnanimity is defined as greatness of soul. So two parts, magna.
Or like
meaning,
great spirit.
Yeah, exactly. So magna.
Great.
That means great, like the Magna Carta.
Mm-hmm.
Nimity means spirit, soul.
Mm-hmm.
So great soul, large souledness.
Large souledness.
Souledness.
Okay.
Is a word that I think deserves more street cred.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't get a lot of respect.
I can see why.
In the word world. So, what does that mean? Greatness of soul.
Right.
To me, that's a weird definition because I think for us, that's the definition Thomas Aquinas uses. I don't know if that's his own original definition, or if that was common in his time. But certainly, when he talks about the soul, he's very philosophic, very specific.
Yes.
He would distinguish between the spirit and the soul. For me, I have heard the difference before. I forget what they are.
Yeah.
And most people view them as the same, even though philosophically there's a difference. So when we say greatness of soul, I think that's kind of lost on us today. Because, well, what is that? We don't really talk about the soul, the powers of the soul, or, you know what I mean?
I mean, what I struggled with whenever I was learning about what magnanimity was, at first glance, I was thinking well, it almost sounds very prideful. It almost sounds like, how is this a virtue? Because it's talking about we're called for greatness. We're called to be, it's the understanding of knowing that we are made for glory. We're made to do great things.
Mm-hmm. So I think a more practical definition is having the habit of doing things worthy of honor. Okay, but not for honor's sake, but because they are honorable things to do.
Right. Yeah. And it's doing great things.
Right.
It's not just doing it's not doing small. I mean, you can do small things with great love. I guess St. Teresa.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be considered a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so in the Summa, St. Thomas Aquinas, there's one question he asks is magnanimity the opposite of meanness? And what he meant by meanness was something being small. Things are grand or mean.
Oh, okay.
And so he meant littleness
in
that case. And he ends up saying no, that meanness is not the opposite of magnanimity because a magnanimous act could be a small act. So it's not necessarily.
So would it be just a prideful act? Would the opposite be
or ambitious? He says ambitious.
Which that term would be different than how we probably use it today.
Once again, because people view ambition as a good thing very often.
Right. Which it can be a good thing.
Yeah. Words change, okay?
Right.
And so that's one of the good things about having Latin in our church is that the way things are defined, when they're defined in Latin, never change, okay?
Right.
Because it's a dead language. I mean, that really is a benefit. So, yeah, when he uses ambition, it's sort of like seeking things beyond your abilities, trying to achieve greater things than what you can actually do.
Okay.
For the sake of
or achieving great things,
yourself.
Thinking that it's you that's doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Let me ask you this. This is something that we have time. Good. I want to get your thoughts on this because this is something I pulled up and I thought this hits me hard.
Okay.
We'll see what you say. It says magnanimous men don't allow themselves to become concerned with everything that comes along, but rather only the great things that are suitable for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've struggled with, especially recently, man, with everything that's going on in the church, with all these breaking headlines. It's who's saying what now. I absorb myself kind of in a lot of things that don't concern me, and aren't building me up to do, continue doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't I'm struggling with probably the virtue of being able to say, nope, those aren't my it's almost like temperance, almost like I'm not tempering myself from things that don't really pertain to what my state in life.
Right. So it sort of like some of the other virtues we've talked about, where you only have so much time in the day. So it's not that you might be doing something that's good. Okay. Help me out if you can think of an example, but is that the greatest good?
I can think of one.
Okay.
I've been emailing a guy about some philosophical questions that I've had.
Okay.
And this guy is a well-known guy. He's people know him, and so I've been emailing him because he's one of the best. Mm-hmm. Well, eventually he said, like, listen, Adam, I can't continue answering your questions because it's taking time away from me writing things that I'm supposed to be writing. Yeah. Now, he could answer those. He could take the time to answer those questions, and it would still be a good thing. But that's not the best thing that he could be doing at that time.
Come on, Pope Benedict. What else are you doing? Right?
That is not what I was implying.
That's not the guy that you were emailing.
That was not what I was implying.
You don't have his email address?
I do not.
Right. So, but that's exactly right. So I think the magnanimous man, he is going to use his resources wisely. In this case, and what you were bringing up, the resource of time. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of good things you can do with your time, but
what is the greatest good?
Yeah. So the virtue of magnanimity seeks to do the greatest thing that you can do with your time.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something that we all are going to struggle with at some point in time whenever we are faced with the final judgment. Yeah. Because God's going to say, "I gave you this time, and look what you did with it." Yeah. Look how unproductive you were with this time. And that's something I struggle with. Yeah. I think probably all of us do it in some capacity.
So I know that St. Thomas Aquinas says you grow in all virtues simultaneously. When you practice one, you grow in all of them. Right. And I'm not going to question him on that. It just seems good. Right. It seems more practically though that you can work on them one at a time, and you can get better at one. And then you get better at another one.
Sure, but grace builds on nature.
Right, I understand.
Right.
It just seems that way to me. Okay. Whether that's true or not, there are a few prerequisites almost in order to practice magnanimity. St. Thomas Aquinas, he says you need humility.
Would probably be
and you need hope. And I think faith was the other one. You need humility so that you do not attempt to do something that is greater than what you have the capacity to achieve. Okay, so the magnanimous man does not attempt things that he understands are beyond his abilities. Okay?
I think that's, okay.
You need hope for that the great things that you do attempt, you have to have hope that they will indeed come to fruition. and you need faith that God will bring them.
That His will be done.
I think faith was the last one. There was a third one, but there's these other virtues. The point is that there's these other virtues that come and play the role. Once again, prudence is always at the helm of all the virtues. It guides. You cannot be magnanimous if you have no prudence.
Right.
Because otherwise you wouldn't have the ability to choose the right virtue at the right time. And I think that's kind of what makes you magnanimous, is that you choose the right virtue. You're able to identify this is really the correct thing to do.
It has to do a lot with knowing thyself. We talk about knowing thyself on the Catholic Man Show quite a bit, and the importance of making sure to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and having a daily examination of conscience, and being able to know what your faults are.
Right.
And I think that the virtue of magnanimity would play a role into knowing thyself, because you have to know what you are good at and what you are called to do, your vocations, living out your vocations first and foremost, and then everything else falls into place.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Sweet. We both agree at the end of a segment, which is always a great thing. We'll be right back. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass. Father Brian Ketterer is now watching, and Father Brian, you have about 10 minutes if you want to get over here to try this delicious home-brewed sour beer that was given to us by a Council of Man member.
If you comment that you're coming,
we will save some for you.
We'll save some.
If you comment that you will come.
But you have to
do that.
And then you have to come over here.
Yes.
Did he say something?
No, it just popped up that he was watching.
Oh.
I was really impressed that we did not struggle with magnanimity.
I think I may have... What am I saying? Magnanimity? I think I'm saying magnanimity instead of magnanimity.
Magnanimity.
It's difficult.
It's a tough word.
I agree.
Especially when you're put on the spot.
It's you could almost argue it's a magnanimous act to simply pronounce the word correctly.
Oh, you should have saved that for this show.
That is a great thing.
That's something you should have.
Maybe I'll say it again.
Yeah. It's okay. It's only 12 people that are watching right now anyway, so.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll get a double feature.
My jokes are always better the second time.
Okay, Father Brian didn't say anything.
That's one thing I've learned about my jokes. I still have plenty.
Where did you get the Mary? Oh, yeah. Hey, people are asking where you got your shirt.
RomanCatholic.com. I don't know.
I don't think that's not going to show. No, that's not going to show. Roman Catholic tea?
It's like something Roman.
Rob, what happened?
I think one of my medals just fell off.
Oh no. Robert, no. Juan is not helping right now. Juan is not in studio. He's out of town. We have multiple cameras set up here in the studio, and we have a keyboard with hotkeys, so we can say camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. That's how we were able to change the shots without Juan. But it sure makes it a lot easier when Juan is here, because he's able to do that where we don't have to worry about it. He's also able to field questions and kind of help us through the show. Dave is in the process of looking for his medals that fell off of his scapular, I'm assuming.
Well, it's just my chain. My St. Michael medal fell off.
Your St. Michael medal fell off?
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Nick, that we weren't able to tell you where he got the Mary. Maybe just type in on Google, "I like her latte Catholic T-shirt" and see what happens. Yes. Father Sean Donovan is watching, and he threw up the link for you guys. Father Sean Donovan is somebody who we have.
What is it? What is the link?
It's Amazon.com.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of it? We have actually recorded with Father Sean Donovan before. If you have not listened to that show, go back and listen to it. We are big fans of Father Sean Donovan, and we hope to have him on the show again.
Yeah, Father Sean. Please
very soon.
Make a trip to Tulsa.
It would be very nice if you did.
Okay.
The invite is there.
Oh, there it is. I was down there, and I didn't see it. It's right here.
Nice. Nice. Father Sean Donovan's coming in strong with multiple. Romantic Catholic is.
Romantic Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like Roman.
Yeah, you were close.
Romantic Catholic. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're actually going to be talking. We're going to be giving a talk over at Father Sean Donovan's parish.
That's true. Yes.
In Pawhuska.
On
early
October, or no,
October 7th.
Yes.
October 7th. We're going to be. If you're in Pawhuska,
we'll be talking about family,
raising saints.
Raising
is our topic.
saints.
We haven't written the talk yet, as you can see.
I hope to do that someday.
Yes, I hope to raise a litany of saints.
Yes, I want to be like the Martin family.
Mm.
They're saints. They had a daughter, Saint Therese
Of Lisieux. Okay, let's get going.
Okay,
let's do this. This is the final segment on magnanimity.
welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles, here with Adam Minahan. We're drinking a sour beer, delicious homebrewed sour beer from our main man, Nate Watson. Thanks, Nate. We're talking about magnanimity.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say about magnanimity? Oh, just saying the word is a magnanimous act. It was much funnier if you had been on Facebook and heard me say it the first time.
And you even said the second.
I forgot what I was going to say, I said it's going to be funnier the second time. It totally wasn't. It's okay.
Hey, yeah, sometimes you just keep swinging. You play in traffic, eventually you'll get hit.
Sometimes I want to be serious, okay?
I understand.
Not a joke. You know what? I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it.
You have to talk into the mic, though.
I'm wearing my pro-life button.
Very good. So we're talking about.
I wanted to show it off, but I realized it's hiding.
Is that a magnanimous act to be showing
yes,
it off?
I want to show off.
Yeah.
I want to show off my magnanimity.
So we're talking about magnanimity today, the virtue of magnanimity. A magnanimous. Oh man, I was the first one to mess up. A magnanimous heart.
Oh, you did it wrong again. Magnanimous.
Magnanimous. Magnanimous.
There you go.
There it is. Is one.
We made it pretty far.
We made it really far.
I agree.
That was pretty good. It does not. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Okay, but it's a guy who does not complain because he does not allow his heart to worry about lesser things. And so it's an understanding of knowing that, it's a call to greatness. It's a call to do great things. And so you can't complain because whatever happens, in your life is you worry about your day-to-day things. Mother Angelica talked about all the time. They asked her, how are you able to run this station and this convent, build this monastery? How are you able to do all these things at one time?
Yeah.
And she said that she lives every second, for every second. As soon as something else happens, she completely disregards it and gives it to the Lord and moves on.
She was good at giving stuff to the Lord.
She was really good at
You know, like when EWTN would have a big bill, one of her sisters would come to her and say, "Hey, we got to pay this $50,000 bill today." And she would say, "Why are you telling me?
Yeah.
Go tell Jesus."
Yeah.
And then she'd send him to adoration to go tell Jesus about it. And then apparently that worked. Bills got paid. EWTN is still around.
Right. She also had the Lord appear to her.
I know.
So
yeah.
But we're all called to greatness. We're all called to great things.
But you know what? Speaking of money, St. Thomas says that if you have financial means, it is easier to be magnanimous
because you can do more. So
yeah. So he used it.
Much is given, much is expected.
Kind of. He gave a couple reasons. One of the reasons is that simply wealthy people are given more honor. And so magnanimity is not just about doing things worthy of honor. It's what you do with the honor that you're given. Okay.
So if you absorb it yourself, that's not magnanimous.
Right. Yeah. So also, another thing that he did was talk about the vices opposed to the virtue of magnanimity. And one of them, I believe it was under ambition, but he made the comment that if you do not attribute all of the honor that you receive to the Lord, then that is a sin. And that would be the sin of ambition. I'm pretty sure that's correct. And so, yes, part of receiving this honor is that you have the correct mind and the correct
you always give
understanding.
it back to the
That it is not me who is really deserving of these honors, but it is Christ who has given me these things. It reminds me of Bishop Sheen, the story, when someone said, "Oh, you're such a great speaker," and he said, "Yes, I am. You're right." And then I don't know if it's someone commenting about it or what, but if he were to have said, "Oh no, I'm not. I'm not."
That's false humility.
Yeah, that's false humility. No, a true humility recognizes the gifts that you have, and in this case, he is a great speaker. He understands that, but the important thing is that he also understands it's a gift that has been given to him from God. It's not something that he dragged out of himself, pulled himself up by his own bootstraps.
Right.
And so that is a part of magnanimity similar to humility.
Yeah, it's anytime I guess you probably go inward with everything, like thinking it's me that's doing it. I look at what all I've accomplished. It's that's direct opposition to the virtue.
Right.
Anytime it's outward, that would probably be a better thing. Let me ask you this, because I pulled this up and I have no idea where it came from, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
I think it's very relevant to specifically today and with abortion.
Okay.
With 40 Days for Life that's just coming out. So it says, to be silent out of fear for what is true is a man who is completely alienated to the virtue of magnanimity.
To be silent out of fear for what is true is to be completely alienated the virtue of magnanimity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
to not stand up for what is true,
right.
meaning to not stand up for what is to be pro-life, to not stand up for the weak, for the hungry, for the poor, to not stand up for your brother, to not stand up for your family, to not.
So you're not afraid of what is true, but to not stand up out of fear, to not stand up out of fear for what is true. So, in other words, to not stand up for what is true out of fear. I think maybe a better way to say it.
Yeah, and thinking like, oh, what are they going to think of me?
Right.
Is my reputation going to be damaged? Is the honor that I've been given going to be taken away?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Are they going to stop listening to the podcast?
The magnanimous man cares, even though he's doing things worthy of honor, he cares not for the honor in and of itself. So if it were to be stripped away, he would care nothing of it, because that was not his motivating factor in the first place. Magnanimity is a sub-virtue. Do you know of what?
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
It is a sub-virtue. It is also a special
fortitude?
Virtue. Yes.
Oh,
nice.
Yes.
Nice. Did you read that, or did
no?
You dug deep and received a
grace,
a locution from the Lord.
Thank you, Lord. The Lord gave that to me.
An allocution. He spoke to you.
Yeah. I would say fortitude.
That is correct.
How many points?
I award you 1,071 points.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, but today,
I'm impressed that you got that. I really am.
Thank you.
Because that is not what is obvious. And I read it a few times when he talks about this, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just trust you.
Well, so today
I do that a lot with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. You know what? I just believe you.
Yeah.
I don't need to know why.
But today, there's all these moral virtues. Morality is being under attack, obviously. And we need men to stand up and say, no, there are absolute truths.
Right.
Jesus Christ did come down on this earth. God did become man. He did die for our sins. He did resurrect from the dead. There's things that are being attacked all over the place. I mean, Trent Horn just did a podcast or a debate with a guy talking about whether or not there is a Christian God. I mean, it's becoming more and more, that side is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
And it's because they're loud. It's because
they're so loud. And it's, why? It's because no one will tell them, no one will speak up.
Right.
Everyone is afraid to speak up. And so silence is, like by not speaking up, you're kind of indirectly affirming them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
We just need to stop that.
Well, and that would be exercising the virtue of magnanimity.
Yes, I agree.
So.
That is good. And that would be something that you have to have guts. I think it takes guts to be magnanimous.
It takes a backbone.
It takes, you got to be, it takes a real man.
Right.
No, and none of this like weak-wristed handshake kind of man.
Right.
I'm talking about.
But I mean, I think that obviously the only way that develops is over time of doing the small things.
Practicing the virtues.
Yeah,
right.
Practicing the virtues.
You grow in the other virtues. You grow in magnanimity. You become magnanimous.
It says, Joseph Pieper.
Okay, yes. I like this guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. When explaining magnanimity, he says, expansion, it is the expansion of the spirit towards great things, like we've talked about.
Uh-huh.
And he said, one who expects great things of himself and makes it himself worthy of it is magnanimous.
And makes himself worthy of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So,
that is a key part.
Right. So I would say arming yourself to make yourself worthy. Adoration's a big part. Maybe daily mass, making sure that you're frequenting the sacraments to receive these graces, to do these things. We're all called to do them. We're all called to be saints. That's the end goal here, right? We're all called to be saints.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we're going to be able to do that is through the grace of God. And God has given us all these avenues to receive His grace through the sacraments, through adoration, through prayer, and you have to be able to build that up in order to do these great things.
Yeah. You know what I find very helpful is reflection. Making that
it goes back to
examination,
the
at the
knowing
end of the day.
thyself,
and not even just that, but reflecting on external situations. You hear about somebody else. Oh, this happened to them, or someone tells you a story. Like on the way here, I saw a guy and he was, yelling at his girl. Like whatever. Just put yourself in that situation and think to yourself, what would I do if I encountered that? Because what's happened to me before is something starts happening and I panic. I don't know what to do. And later,
you haven't thought of that,
later I think back and say, well, I wish I had acted.
Right.
And being prepared, I think, makes you more magnanimous.
Yes. Anyway, Nathan Watson, thank you so much for giving us this beer. Talked about Premergent. And we've talked about the virtue of magnanimity. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
The cheers to Jesus was much better this week.
I was nervous, though. I was like, I cannot mess this up 2 weeks in a row.
You went quick, though, because sometimes you're like, cheers to Jesus.
Cheers to Jesus.
And this time you were like, nope, short, sweet, let's get it done.
Yeah. I did not want to mess it up.
Yeah, we did well.
Thank you.
Okay, let me look here. I think that's it. I think that was I don't think we had any questions. So
okay, if you have questions, post them now before we shut her down.
Before we shut her. Did anybody check? I wonder if Twitter we actually were streaming on Twitter as well. I wonder if that got any traction whatsoever. We're on Twitter as we speak. I don't know if that did anything. Solid cheers, Robert said. He agreed that you did.
Thank you, Robert.
I don't know if that live.
I don't even think I didn't even get notified that it was happening.
You didn't?
Oh wait, here it is.
It's still going on. We got at least one person that watched it.
Yeah, we got one guy on Twitter. Way to go, solo Twitter guy. I wish it would tell me who it is.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate it so much. If you can.
Oh, I wonder if it's me. Am I the one guy?
You may be the one guy.
I was the one guy.
I appreciate it so much, guys. If you have not already, you can go to the Council of Man on thecatholicmanshow.com and become a member to help support the Catholic Man Show.
The COM button, Council of Man.
Father Sean Donovan just posted something that I know has to be good. 9 ways of participating in others and another sins. Here they are. By counsel, by command, by consent, by provocation, by praise or flattery, by concealment, by partaking, by silence, by the defense of the ill done.
That's one thing I used to do a lot. When I got out of college, started coming back to the faith, growing in holiness, I still would catch myself.
And we referenced number 8 is what Father Sean said, by silence.
Oh, yes. But I used to catch myself bragging about my past sins. Oh man, I used to do this, or I used to, drink so much. I could drink, I could get so drunk, and I realized at some point, what am I doing? I'm promoting the sin.
Right. And glorifying it.
Even though I'm doing it under the context of I don't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just glorifying my old sins. Mm-hmm. Hard.
Dumb. That's a dumb thing to do.
D-U-M-M. Dumb.
D. D-U-M-M-D.
D.
Dumbed.
Yeah. I forgot the D.
Yeah.
All right,
guys. We're digressing quickly. Thanks so much. Now you got to make sure. Hold on. You can stop recording or stop streaming. Yes. But right here, hit the done.
This?
Yeah. Okay. Because if you hit the one right below it, it doesn't post it.
Oh, it was just live.
Yeah, and that was it.